Okay, I need to make a video just about Britney Spears and Rihanna as well. I've made some flyers and I have spoken about how Britney Spears and Rihanna represent the positive and negative side of me. Um, at the beginning of my tribulation, I guess I used to always say that Britney was the positive and Rihanna was the negative. But now I actually see them in the opposite way round. Because basically now I believe that Britney actually represents the world's wish. And I don't know how well I've explained it in other videos, but I'm going to focus specifically on this because I was thinking about this a lot yesterday. Um, and yeah, so she represents the world's wish, which is something like, if Christ or God was what had to be female, she has to be female, was to come to earth, what would she be like? And what kind of, what things and I think Britney, that role, her whole life, her whole career, it wasn't necessarily about insulting me. I think it insults me now because this is how I feel. Now I know how bad the world is. I'm looking back at all those songs thinking, what, this doesn't, like, you shouldn't be like this when in a world that's so awful. And I think that's what's wrong, is that her songs were all about wanting to be the world's wish. And just in the last few, I don't even know when I realized this, because I did realize this earlier, but my my voice, the voice in my head, kept telling me to like her. There's good and bad and everything. Okay, she comes off as a bit stupid and a bit dappy and but nice, but also confused. And I feel like if people saw me as being like that, they would see me as being weak. They wouldn't be afraid of me. If they weren't afraid of me, they would be more encouraged to do songs that show whatever side they want to show. And I feel like that was really important, even though it was hurting me, and even though it was causing me great pain. I felt like there was some good in it. I know that there's good and bad and bad and good, and the more they come up against me, the more power I have. And I felt it. I felt the more that they upset me, the more power I had, because I felt like the light inside of me was actually just getting stronger. I've always felt like that, even though on one hand it was lovely, like complete lust towards that light, so gorgeous. But on the other hand, you'd come back to your reality sense and just be like, but I want to be fair. I want them to talk to me. I want them this. So it was very, very confusing. But at the same time, yeah, the Britney character is the world's wish, and I wanted to be the world's wish. So she represents the positive side back when I first, when I first believed that I was Christ, and even before, throughout my whole life, I've always looked up to her in a way and been like, oh wow, that's nice. I want to be like that. And all the other angels or singers, I kind of just saw them as being like, yeah, that's okay and it's fun. But I've always put more focus on Britney because I always thought she came off how I wanted to be, and I felt like we both resonated in the sense that we both wanted to be that same thing. But over the years, I've seen how awful this world is, and I feel like a part of being the world's wish is to just have sex with everyone. I mean, everyone believes in God now. Really, they don't give a shit about God, because something like, God is eternal, God can't die. I mean, if God is a real person and you're going around saying that God is eternal and God is never going to die, I mean, how awful would that be for God, if all these stupid idiots are just preaching about how she can't die? Like, that's not an option, no matter how much pain or how much suffering or how much everything that she goes through. What happens if she's off, like in an awful position, and is just living and living and living, and then you've got all these idiots just being like, oh, you're going to do that forever, ever and ever, and you're never ever going to stop. I mean, it's one thing to have 70 timelines, but what about 700 timelines? Do I want to do 700 timelines? Do I want to do 7,000 timelines? Do I want to do 7 million timelines? I mean, can you imagine that? And then you've got all these stupid people that are just being like, God's eternal, God lives forever. I mean, I think the light inside of me, that lives forever. That's something that will never die, because that is something that I can pass on to my kids, and hopefully the strongest of them will make it to be God's. And that's what I look for most in people, just strength. Someone who can know about what my power is, know about the truth about God, and also feel like, you know what, I'm not scared enough. Okay, maybe I'm not ready enough. They'll probably admit, if you're smart, you would admit that you are not ready enough to be a god. Because if you think about how much torture or how much insults or how many people have come up against me, I've had the whole world up against me, and I have to do a timeline where I feel like I'm inspiring things of the past, and yet, it makes me very, very wary of everything that I do. And feeling like you've got so much responsibility on your head. And so being a god is a horrible, horrible, horrible thing. You should want to be a god, but you should also recognize that it takes a lot of pressure. You need to be a very, very strong person. I've gone through so much and I wanted to die so bloody much. And then you've got people telling you that that's never going to happen. You're never, ever, ever, ever going to die. And it's just like, I want to kill you. I seriously want to kill you for saying that. But anyway, they don't care about God. They want to believe whatever they want to believe, and really they're actually hurting God. But at the same time, I feel like this is the Britney character is everything that I wanted to be. But when I realized how awful this world is and how much they don't actually care about God, that's when I started realizing that actually I would far rather be like Rihanna, because at least Rihanna, she's realistic and she's feeling my real pain, and that character wants is just fed up of all these people that want stuff like this. To be if everyone wants to be in a relationship or in a relationship with a partner with God, it's fine in some levels, because I want people to like me and I want people to even have feelings for me, because I want to, if I go into a Big Brother house, I'd want to know that they actually have my best interest. Even if they're just lying on the outside world, I also want to feel loved. I want to feel loved, but not on a deep level, not on a deep I'm going to commit to you forever and ever level. But you can tell that to other people, because I don't know, but it's just really, really complicated, because yeah, it's really, really complicated. But I want to feel like the world, especially like the masculine side of things, is on my side and is supporting me. But at the same time, yeah, I cannot be the world's wish, because if I was to be the world's wish, and if the world all wants to love God and be in a relationship with God, then I'd have to be in a relationship with everyone, and that is impossible, because I do not want to have sex with everyone, and I don't want to have sex with anyone really. I mean, I don't know anyone well enough to say that yes, I want to have kids with you, and I think my higher self does know people. She can look into your future, into your past, and she can know what kind of person you are or what person you have been. And okay, even if you were a terrible person, sometimes being a terrible person is a good thing, because you've caused suffering to other terrible people, and suffering to other terrible people is what makes them a better person. So there's good and bad, and bad and good, and it's deep. And yeah, if you are gay, great, I'm happy for you. I don't really want you to personally love me, but at the same time, I want you to have love for me, I think is the word. Have love is fine, but not actually love me, because if you actually loved me, you'd be jealous if I went to go and have another partner, or if you'd be jealous if I've, just take for example, if I did sleep with Eminem, how many people who really loved me would be pissed off about the fact that I've had sex with someone else, and then I think that's when the chaos comes. And I think that's what's going wrong with Britney, because I feel like her brain is still functioning to be the world's wish, and I think the world actually just wants to see nudity, hence why she feels free when posing nude. I mean, I've told her not to, and I think she needs to snap out of whatever character she's rolling in, and she needs to realize that the world, okay, they do probably want to see me naked or whatever if they're an idiot, but if we get rid of all the idiots, try and blank out all the idiots, and think about the people that actually do care about me and actually do care that, and if I was to be naked in front of the whole world, okay, the whole world would actually probably want that, but at the same time the whole world would actually just start seeing me as a slut or a prostitute or something like this. And if I'm doing it to please the world, then technically I'm not doing it for the wrong reasons, I'm doing it for the right reasons, but at the same time it's going to end up being the wrong reasons, because that's not actually what the world wants. What the world wants and what the world needs are two different things. And I think that is the difference between Britney and Rihanna. Rihanna is what the world needs, someone to get rid of the shit, and Britney is what the world wants. And yeah, I don't know how I'm going to say that on a Big Brother show, because at the same time I need to be seen to be like her, even though being like her is actually just going to cause me a ton of problems. Hence why the Rihanna side is the far better side. But anyway, I've just needed to explain that.